We've got one more game between HitEmUp and Shopkeeper Dog coming at you, going to Impetus for it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cosmonarchy. I should have had like a flashy intro or something that with a swoosh, swoosh sound effect as like the Cosmonarchy logo came up and it was just like, welcome to Cosmonarchy. In fact, I think HitEmUp should welcome everybody to Cosmonarchy. I think every new player should play against HitEmUp at least once, and preferably twice, and definitely tell that to Artosis. We've already got some interesting openers here from HitEmUp with the first two games, one of them being a Den opener after Larvosk, the second being a a Larvosk into Zoryus, obviously a Zorkish Shroud into Zoryus the left. And Shopkeeper Dog is going to be in the top right as the, I'm going to say Glacial Terran. And HitEmUp in the bottom left as the Zinwaldite Brown Zerg. Oh, it's Cordovan. I was close, though. I was close. I swear. Now, I'm not sure, because in the last game, the Zoryus Rush game, HitEmUp said something about Madrigals, and that was a thing that Dog did not have at all in the previous match. So I'm not 100% sure. They must have played some like games where Dog was fighting against his Protoss or something. Sometimes HitEmUp will go random, but he always tells his race. So there is that to consider as well. Shopkeeper Dog, on the other hand, he's been on the receiving end of the macro punishment on Radium and the Zoryus on the Genesis Y. I actually think Goliath was fine there. He just needed to micro it. If you guys go back and watch that previous VOD, there's always a link in the description if there's like a set of games. In this case, we're obviously in game 3, but video 2. Anytime I have to split it up into like that, then yeah, that's usually what I end up doing. So look at this. The timing bears out that he gets his Shroud before he gets his Larvosk finished. So that's kind of an interesting little timing for the opener. In before plus 25 gas cost. Oh, I did it again. I nerfed HitEmUp. JK, that hasn't happened yet. The Vulture on the way. He is going to go ahead and see that the Shroud is an opener. Now, previously, Dog liked to go Fulcrum into Expand. Looks like he's going to do the same thing here, but hopefully he doesn't. It was cool that he observed that his Fulcrum slipped, right? I don't know that Dog ever expected somebody to cast that game, because it's like maybe you don't normally cast like rushes or whatever. I actually think it's fine to see rushes every now and then, even on the channel. Preferably as part of a larger series. I don't want to do it like, so I know that sometimes you'll have like an Artosis cast upload, and I do watch Artosis casts daily, so I can say this with some confidence. When it's like a 10-minute game, I feel like, that could have been longer. And then when it's like there was the one game that he did where it was like a 3-minute game, but then he just looped it so the video length was 15 minutes. It was a funny bamboozle. So yeah, there is that. The Larvosk already taken some damage, being cut into by this Mason. But not going to be punished on. I like that as a pressure play, though. Oh, look at this. It's actually double... it's a double Zoryus into a Gorgorcore. So it's really good that this Mason is still here to scout this, actually. Because he should notice that there's only 2 Zoryus. In the last game, there was obviously 4 of them. But it's a second Gorgorcore follow-up afterwards. So, are you going to see the Goliaths? Oh, man, this is so dirty, because HitEmUp just said, Goliath's the wrong choice. Meanwhile, the fucking Gorgorcores are flying out. The Mason should have seen it. I don't know that Shopkeeper Dog actually did, but he is making the Goliath anyway, so hopefully that's going to be enough. If he starts a Watchdog somewhere outside of his mineral line, that'll be a more obvious tell that he sees the Gorgs, but it doesn't look like he's doing that, and now the window is kind of out. So the Vultures are going to be able to hold this very easily. You're going to have 2 in the anchor, you're going to have 1 on either side to block any incoming units, and then obviously the mines are going to take care of the Zoryus, so that's not a concern. However, there is 1 Goliath out, and only 1 Goliath out, so second one now coming out, but it's about 25 seconds to make. So what can he do in this situation? No Watchdog being started backwards. He is microing very nicely, I would say. Kind of softening up both of the Gorgs right now, so that feels a little bit awkward. Obviously, the mine hit elsewhere. That attack not actually working out so well. And look at that, a Watchdog, I think, got canceled. I didn't see it fast enough, but it was there to block the Hatcherosk. So that was really good there for Shopkeeper Dog. He ended up blocking some stuff for a long time. And look at it, right back to the 3rd Ministry. I held 3rd Ministry. This is like Ramen going Quarry first, but somehow it feels greedier. Post in the comments, do you think Ramen, back in the Tyrant's Tale meta, going Quarry first so that he could get more workers out per 30, 15 seconds or whatever, do you think that's better than greedier or less greedy than the 3rd Ministry? I feel like versus Zerg, the 3rd Ministry, I feel like it just slows your army development so heavily. Starpad on the way, though, so maybe he can go for some kind of cheeky drop. He's going to be very weak to a frontline attack, but at least both of the Gorgorcores end up surviving for HitEmUp. So I think if one of those had died, I would feel a lot better about the attack. That being said, I mean, there's 2 Goliaths, there's the 4 Vultures. He was completely, I was going to say completely unharmed. Obviously, the Vulture took a little bit of damage, but like besides that, no real losses for our shopkeeper. Could end up getting on the board on the way out. 1 Lakizalisk on the way, but there's the tools for detection. He can make an Anseal out of that star pad. I really think Shopkeeper Dog would have so much more success and find so much more value if he had gone for something like, if he actually incorporated, oh, look at that, an Anseal, but also, shamans or clerics or something into his composition. And I feel that way about like every Terran basically, but Dog has been on the record as saying he thinks that Anseals are he's anti-Anseal and he's anti-healing, right? And so that's like a significant chunk of the power budget of the race. And I get some of his thought processes on that. He's talked about how like, well, why would I bother? Like, why do I really need like more uptime on bio units that die immediately, and like mech units are like the only thing that he can really think of is like, oh yeah, maybe your Goliaths and your Phalanxes and your Madrigals. But even then, he doesn't seem very keen on adding it in. And so, yeah, these are some thoughts, right? Like, I really think that more could be done there. I do like his positioning of the Goliaths, I will say. He's elected to not make any watchdogs, and that's the missile turret for those who are uninitiated. And because he has no watchdogs, he's in a situation where he kind of has to preemptively protect his airspace. And looks like he will obviously see the army moving around now. The Anseal going to come in and see the full breadth of the military force that HitEmUp has deployed here. But again, he's allowing the Zerg to be active on the map when really he should definitely have the, pardon the pun based on the map name, Impetus to move around, right? Palladium starting on one of his fulcrums. Still got 2 Goliaths hanging out over by the main ministry. And yeah, as his position continues to develop, I think he can put like 1 watchdog in each base and then kind of start moving out at some point. He's going to go ahead and scout the military at this point. Worker count's dead even, just about. HitEmUp continuing to add more production. He's making his own Circuit and a double Circuit over here to anti-drop. I like that play. He's actually doing it for both bases. So that's just by virtue of owning a star pad and the previous game, or actually the game all the way back on Radium where drops were used. I do feel like Shopkeeper Dog is in a spot where he's inflicted some worker damage, if you will, because he's forced HitEmUp to make structures, and that obviously drains your workers as Zerg. Once again, just scouting around, seeing what's going on here. If he moves into the natural, that would look like a pretty juicy target. Again, HitEmUp is now transitioning into units, but there was a period of time where he wasn't making any. And if you can get the Zerg when they're making workers instead of military, that's something that always feels really good for you and feels really bad for the Zerg player. And then, you kind of throw off their whole rhythm. Like, HitEmUp wanted to get up to 50 workers and then just kind of power on military for a bit, and then obviously take his third base and yada, yada, yada. So that's essentially what he's mapped out. Obviously, he doesn't. He's more of a fly by the seat of his pants type of guy. He plays and he figures stuff out on the go, so to speak. So a bit ad hoc with his building, like his order of operations in some cases. But he knows roughly what he needs to do. Let's see what happens here. Only the 1 Goliath inside that anchor, but the force is here to deal with that, so that's going to be more than enough. Not picking that Gorgor though. That 1 wounded Gorgor is like 2 Goliath hits away from death. You can see how fast it regenerates compared to StarCraft 1 Zerg. Does end up, well, I say you can see that, and then if you weren't looking at that, I guess I clicked off too fast. There you go. Trying to get better at showing off the stats a little bit here for those who are not super familiar with the game. Shout out to some YouTube commenters one time. Pretty good stuff. We do have the same sort of 6 fulcrum opening here with the 4th ministry nearly complete, and the 3rd one landing at 12 o'clock. So Shopkeeper Dog developing. He's actually got a faster expansion tempo than his opponent does, so I feel like that's pretty good. Impetus is a bit of a challenging map, I feel like, sometimes because of the distance and like the way the pathways are spaced out and stuff. The Anseal obviously scouting out that there's a massive number of Hydras here. The Phalanx count feels a little bit too small right now to hold something like this. So let's see what ends up happening here. It looks like HitEmUp. He's not yet convinced he should be attacking into this force, and then it looks like he convinces himself a little bit more as time goes on. The Goliaths need to deal with that Gorgor for sure. One of them's already been taken care of. And now you got to watch out for the splash damage. Eesh. All right, well, only losing 1 Phalanx isn't too bad. Did lose a number of his Vultures. Wasn't able to get any mines planted. Now we're going to get a lodestone on there. I don't mind that at all, because if Lakizilisks come by, the detection will definitely help. Looks like no static defense set up at 6 o'clock, but there's a bunch of Izira cores on standby to deal with the incoming Goliath drop. Could also try to pressure bottom right. Hey, by the way, Iris now coming online here. Remember, one of the things we saw in Radium is that Shopkeeper Dog never really got going with his tech. He never got his Atlas, so that does feel a little bit rough. You can see now he's stationed up the Watchdogs to deal with any Gorgs, any other run-bys that are going to come in from air units. We'd love to see that. So Dog definitely playing a better, tighter game overall, I would say. And he's getting up there when it comes to the float, so he's definitely going to be able to, I think, set up some good stuff when it comes to the resources. And the Goliaths are going to get dropped off just to pressure the hatch, but they're not going to be too long for this world. At the very least, Shopkeeper Dog, put some respect on his name. He's going to be able to pick one Izira core. One. And then in parentheses, one. You know what I mean? Trojan does come back, so he can go ahead and reinvest in that later on. That's something that I feel like a lot of people who do use drops are not always super on the ball with, is making sure that when they set their stuff up and they go for their drops, they don't always save the drop afterwards. Wounded Goliath frontlining is a bold strategy. At the very least, you should pick that Goliath, the Gorger core rather. There you go. Trade a Goliath for a Gorger core. In other words, GG, right? Because they're both Gs. Anseal going to go ahead and scarper off, seeing the military retreat towards that, I guess you could call it 8 o'clock position. Worker saturating bottom right. Again, the worker count definitely ballooning for HitEmUp, but he's still within reach, right? Tier 2 is done, but we don't actually see any Tier 2 tech nodes yet. I'm scanning. That's something that Shopkeeper Dog wishes he could do, and that's not something that I see over here. Okay, now the Spire coming out. I wonder what he's going to actually make out of the Spire. Okay, he's making every Tier 2 tech structure. Okay, I mean, that's not bad. That's what Neblime used to do back in the day, so if Neblime did it, I feel like it's probably a good idea. If Neblime did it in recent history, I feel like it's a good idea. There you go. Want to be fair. There was that one game on fucking Megalith Empire where he was against the Shambler bird of Lakizalisk, and Neblime didn't know you could stand on it to reveal it, so he lost the game. So, you think back to when people just started the project. Yeah, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, if he did anything ever, then it's a good idea. All right, so the Phalanxes are in a nice arc. There's a large number of them, too. Goliaths will be okay at dealing with the Hydra count for now. Oh man, I feel like his Phalanxes are a little bit too far apart, though. This almost looks like a versus Protoss maneuver where you're expecting a lot of melee. Right now, you need a concentration of them because you're basically fighting Zerg Dracoons, or Zerg Dragoons, right? That's what you're fighting right now, is a massive ranged army, not a crazy number of, melee units in this composition right now. At least not right now. We do have some Matrolets here. HitEmUp does say that when he uses spellcasters, he doesn't really use them, so I'll be interested in seeing how that one works out. He's going to go ahead and try to arc up the right-hand side of the map at the same time, so he's got like a war on two fronts brewing, which I do like. There are some static defenses in place there, so I don't think he's going to be super deadly with that Hydra push, but let's see what happens over here, right? Because there's a large number of Hydras and not a really large number of concentrated Phalanxes. Again, the sort of split here is not ideal. Ministry going to absorb a lot of the damage there. At the same time, mines are going to go ahead and start stunning the Hydras on the right-hand side. Now they're going to get right on top of the Phalanxes now that they're unprotected. Zoryu's now down. It's just the ranged units. It looks like those will be mopped up. Meanwhile, the Goliath's trying to scramble some kind of defense over here. Nice little mine hit on the right-hand side. You can tell that those Hydras are consigned to death, but I think that's okay for HitEmUp. He doesn't want to lose them, as you can see, but he's going to lose, it looks like, all but one. Not the end of the world. The Gatling Goliaths. Another GG. Top left is going to be spotted out by the single Hydralisk there, and I think, Dog is going to be able to take care of that. But already going up to a 5th base while Dog is just taking his 4th. Not an ideal position. That Hydra is pretty low on HP, so Dog could just kill him with battle workers, but that's okay. Pranked. Still no tier 2? I can't believe Dog has been slamming out units this whole time. And he's mining gas, right? Like, oh, I guess he's only got 4 workers on this gas. Wow, he's only got 2 workers on every gas. Yeah, that might be a missing link for him. I don't know if people know this, but your 3rd worker is still 25% efficiency. That means that if you're getting, hypothetically, you're getting 4 gas per return. You're not. You're getting 5. Then, you get 4, and then 1. But that 1 gas over time still adds up to a massive number, right? So, like, the 3rd worker still is useful over a long enough course of time that I think that might be the missing link for what he needs. So that might, If he's been doing that even into the modern age, that might actually improve his play quite a bit. Matrolets are here with the army. They do an aura, which provides them with ensnare. They're not supposed to be running into the front end of the enemy, but that's okay. One of them gets sniped. Yeah, you can see, so they're basically providing an aura that any unit that has the aura is going to go ahead and apply ensnare on hit. It's not super consequential in this fight. I feel like the spread is just not what Shopkeeper Dog wants to be doing right now. If you end up using their ability, though, that would have helped out a lot. Tier 3 now on the way here for HitEmUp. He almost broke him. There was not really... I guess there's a bunch of Goliaths and stuff over there, but there wasn't really much else going on. Oh my god, Shopkeeper Dog, my man. He had, like, 2k minerals. He could have made Tier 2 so many times, but he's elected not to. 8 o'clock now being taken by HitEmUp. He's almost saturated the... I guess you caught it. Oh, there we go. Tier 2 now on the way. He's almost saturated fully the base down here in... What would you call this? I guess this is 4 o'clock, right? So, there you go. Army moving up to 2, seeing what's going on. Ministry now floating over here towards, I guess I'll call that 10 o'clock. Yeah, interesting situation here, because it looks like the base count is going to be relatively the same. Again, like, this base is going to be offsetting what, you know, Dog is able to take. Man, no one, like, he's only putting 2 on gas this whole time. No wonder, like, that really is the difference between, like, getting Tier 2, I want to say, like, 5-6 minutes earlier. That's what I think, anyway. Maybe I'm overestimating how much that third worker is useful, but it is useful. I would recommend it. It's very important. I mean, all you need to know is that not only has HitEmUp capped his gas, he's also harvesting with 6 workers in every base when it comes to Vespene. So, just going to say that. Just going to throw that out there. If HitEmUp's doing it, it must be good. I can probably say that. If HitEmUp is doing it, and it's not a meme game, it must be good. Oh, look at this. He's like oversaturated the gas down here. Oh, that's a start. We'll take that. So I guess it looks like Tier 2 is actually going to be allowed to finish, mostly probably because HitEmUp wants to get Tier 3. So he's like, I got to get Tier 3. I got to use this. He doesn't realize how close he was to victory, I feel like, in that last game. That does mean that it opens up the opportunity for Shopkeeper Dog to try to come back. He's going to drop 4 mantles, see about Starport as well. Love to see, like, a Seraph, maybe a couple of Zazels or something. I do think that would be a pretty big W, you know what I'm saying? Do you guys speak W? I don't know if you guys speak Zoomer or what. But, yeah, Tier 3 now done. Gascat's Grotto, Axtoth Axis, mutating the... Chokel Chazal, mutate. Yeah, get everything mutated. Ultrav Cavern. Sure, yeah, there you go. Tosral Haunt. Everything coming up. Everything coming up, HitEmUp. I really wanted to debut Shopkeeper God in a non-observant fashion, like be like, the same way that I'm like, oh yeah, we should call him that if he does something epic. I really wanted to just have the do something epic part happen, but right now he's on the struggle bus, not able to take the 2 o'clock position to equalize the bases. He's going to wander in with a couple of Harakans. See a couple circuits over here. Cinematic. Ahmed versus the world. More Ahmed. Ahmed is the name of Harakan, by the way. Every Ahmed is named that. I don't know if you guys knew that. Army in the middle of the map getting scouted out here. Oh no! A Criminalisks! That's the last thing that you wanted to hear. Mostly because you probably don't know what that unit is, but that's okay. You're about to find out. You about to learn today. You gonna learn today what a Criminalisk is. Talk about giant crabs. Another base being taken or being made here, but it has to float all the way over here because that's the only open base. And I don't know. I guess he can uproot that position with enough effort. He's got some sentinels. I do feel like his central flank here, if you want to call it that, is not very well protected. There it is. The giant crabs. They're loose. Dear Lord. Ahmed. Oof. Well, he lit 3 Zorius on fire, so he must be feeling pretty happy about that. The Seraphs actually do work out pretty well versus the Criminalisks in a sense, because they have 5 armor, right? Which is pretty absurd. It's a tier 3 unit, endgame kind of tech. And so, that's pretty cool. But also, the Seraph can obviously rend that armor, drop a Radiate on the whole army, etc., etc. Pretty good stuff. You do need a couple of them, so I'm glad to see that they're being queued up over here. I'm excited to see the Criminalisks actually being used. Their purpose is kind of like a bunker buster type thing. Like, they're meant to try to go into very entrenched positions and see if they can't drive a wedge into them so that the rest of the Zerg army can explode inwards. So we're going to see how they end up getting used here. Vatros flying over. That's about how I expected HitEmUp would use those. And yeah, with the Criminalists coming in across the bridge as well, this is looking like a pretty rough situation here. Oh, we do have a Sasirvaleth. It's also going to fly in and do nothing, I think. Oh, no, never mind. There you go. So the Sasirvaleth gives you lifesteal as Zerg as an aura. So these units are not actually dying. We'll select a couple of them so you can see their health bars kind of scoop back up here and there. I love the Seraph's arrival. That is going to go ahead and handle things. I mean, this is clearly the screenshot, right? Like, come on now. But beyond that, I mean, the Ministry's dying, the workers are getting hit. Honestly, it's taking HitEmUp longer to break this base than I thought. And he even has Cascathalors. Like, come on, bro. That's a pretty good unit. More irradiate fields going down. Gotta watch out for that. Cataphracts holding them at bay. Ministry even at the front line there. The Sasirvaleths might have died, so there's not as much lifesteal going on. Deploying more and more Phalanxes. He did end up scooting those ones in the back over. There's another attack coming up the middle of the map, however. Nice irradiate on the bridge, preemptive. I like that from Shopkeeper Dog. He's trying to keep on the goal, so to speak. But yeah, I think his Phalanx count has dropped too low, and the Criminalisks are going to start having a field day with that position. This position did not actually end up getting caught. That's pretty surprising to me that position held. But the Cascathalors are here, and the Sasirvaleths are as detectors. Okay, they flew off to the other side, I guess. Meanwhile, the Criminalisks, as you can see, they have many spores. You don't often see them get this close to units, but when it happens, it's brutal. Now again, that's 6 of them, and they are unimaginably expensive, but still pretty epic. Looks like the Cascathalor will eventually end up getting slapped, hoisted by an irradiate and plus Cataphract move. I don't think, yeah, like here's the problem, right? Like as cool as it is that Shopkeeper Dog is still alive technically, you gotta factor in that he hasn't done any counter damage. Mortatha Core is now coming in. When they are empowered that way, they have increased movement speed and also lifesteal, so you gotta watch out for that as well. So Sasirvaleth's definitely helping out there. So the Sasirvaleth was a floating squid thing, and it provides 100% lifesteal, so say you do 8 damage, you get 8 health back. You can imagine how powerful that is. I was pretty sure when I implemented that, that's probably busted. But we never end up getting to see Tier 3 Zerg, so I'm very grateful that HitEmUp showed a couple of options there. And you know what? We got a cool screenshot out of it, we got a cool couple of ideas out of it. Maybe somebody who likes to play Zerg will see that game and be like, damn, I want to have giant crabs and 100% lifesteal on a squid. And I'll tell them, yeah, well, in that case, play Zerg, play Cosmonarchy. Join us for the tournament coming up soon. It's got a very hefty prize pool and it keeps increasing. GG, boys. We'll be back.